How do we stay connected to our soul purpose, to our soul expansion, to our life path, life mission, when there is so much chaos and negativity and division and war and conflict going on in the world? So that's what I want to talk about today. How do we stay grounded in our center, in our power, in the midst of everything that is going on in this world? So I'm going to talk about a few different things. One of them is knowing yourself, knowing when you can hold, allowing in the news, the outside chaos, the things that are going in, knowing when you don't have that capacity to hold. It's also about staying connected to your center, to your knowing. So having these daily practices that ground you in your heart, in your soul, in what you're here to do, so that you can show up from that place, not from the place of fear and lack. And we need your lights. We need all of our light, because there is a lot of chaos and negativity. Is there more now than there has been in the past? What I do know is that it is visible. By the click of our phone, we have access to all the wars, all the pain, all the suffering. And we bring it into our homes, and we bring it into our energy body and our energy field in ways that the past, we didn't know what was happening necessarily on the other side of the world, in different tribes and different places. We knew the suffering of our place. So let's dive into it. First of all, being very clear on how your energy is affected and when you can hold, taking in news, taking in podcasts, YouTubes on pain, suffering, war, division topics. And it is good to be informed. It's good to know how people are feeling, what is happening in this world. And I know for myself, sometimes I can sink into that lower vibration. And that's okay, but be aware. Journal after, be like, that was too much, or I wasn't in the right energy to let in this lower frequency. There's other times when I take in the news, I listen to podcasts from different angles, different sides, to try to get a better understanding. And I'm able to hold an eagle view, to look down at the chaos and be like, how interesting that this person is lying, that this is not actually what we're being told. And I can hold the chaos in a higher state, and it doesn't drop my frequency. So the further on my path I get, the more self-aware I become, and the more I learn what I can hold, when I can hold, and the more I can be in tune with my energy. There's some days I'm just in a lower frequency or a more sensitive state. And I know it's not the time to let in the negativity, the chaos, the fear. It is a time to nurture, to tune in, to reconnect to my heart and to my soul, to feel the safety that I have right here, right now, instead of tapping into the pain and the chaos and the unsafety, So that's a part of it. Be aware, and when you overdo it, when you let too much in and it drops your frequency, that's okay. But learn, grow, notice each time. And the more in tune with our energy bodies we can be, the better. And so that's number one. Number two, have practices. Have practices every day where you connect to your heart, to your soul, to your inner knowing, to your inner guidance. And that looks different for all of us, but a daily practice, because on the days where we're feeling disconnected, we don't want to do the practices, but that's when we most need them, right? To close off all of the noise and the chaos that is happening and to tune in. And even when you're feeling good, right? To reconnect to your knowing, to your vibrancy. And then show up in your soul business, in your soul purpose, in the steps you are taking to expand yourself from the energy of your heart and soul and your knowing versus the energy of fear. When we're in fear, we're not connected to our power. And so we got to watch, we got to be careful when and I do it too, we all do it. We drop into fear of the world and AI and wars and everything going on, but do not create from that place. When you're in fear, when you're in lack, notice, move it through your body. What are some practices that you can do to reconnect? Go for a walk in nature, meditate, journal, dance, move your body, move the fear out. And in your business, in your soul purpose, in your life, take steps forwards from your heart and your soul and your truth, not from the fear. So whenever you're in fear, notice it. Do not move. Do not take action from fear, because that is a disempowered place. Come back into your power to then take action in your business, in your purpose. And we need to prioritize joy. Joy, fun, play, because we're in the frequency of joy. We are connected to our aliveness. When we're in the frequency of joy, we elevate our state, our frequency. And sometimes it can feel so hard to connect to joy, to pleasure, to vibrancy when there is so much negativity and chaos and shit going on in the world. But we need your joy. We need you to be connected to your aliveness, to your heart and your soul, and to be in that frequency of love, to then share from that place. We need you. We need your light. This world needs your light. We need you to show up and to share light. And just as many people who are online in a lower frequency, complaining, creating more lack, more division, more hate to others, othering people, just as many creators in that area, we need us light workers. We need us who are spreading light and love in this world to also show up, to share, to create content, to share from this frequency, to put energy into this frequency. And it's important to look at the shadow. We need to see, this is a part of the awakening. Is the chaos, is the light being shone on how corrupt our systems are, how much we're still in the consciousness of war, of division, of a lack of fear, the unconsciousness of our leaders. We need to see it in order to create the new, but let's not live in it, because when we just feed the negativity, the hate, the division, the darkness, that expands. We got to look at it. We got to see it. It's a part of it. But then we need to come back to our power, to the light, and we need to feed the light. We need to give energy and attention to the light, to the new. It's not about fighting the old. We got to put energy into creating the new systems, the new ways of being, the heartfelt leadership, the expanding consciousness on this earth, because that's also happening. So make sure you follow YouTube creators, channels, podcasts that are focusing on the light, connecting you to the light. And there is time and place to look at the news and look at the darkness and educate ourselves and see what is happening. And then we also need to connect to light and podcasts and communities where we're reminded, we remember that consciousness is expanding, that there are so many beautiful souls doing beautiful work in this world. There are so many beautiful souls who are connected to their hearts, who care, who are creating their businesses with impact, with human, with environment, with Mama Earth at the center, not money. We have so many of these people. So let's remember that, because if we're just taking in the darkness and the division and the chaos and the news, we think that's all there is. But there's also so much light. And we got to remember that so that we can stay connected to that, so that we can feed the light energy, so that we can create from the light and add to the light. So, my dears, share from your heart, share your vibrancy, share your frequency. We need all the beautiful souls sharing, connecting, elevating. We got to remember and see all the goodness, all the beauty that is unfolding in the midst of the chaos. It's both. And I know for myself, sometimes I can switch between the two, just focusing on the news and the darkness and the chaos, and then completely shutting it off and just focusing on the light. And part of my journey has been more balanced, to allow both and consciously choose, consciously be aware of where I am putting my energy, my focus, because what we focus on expands. What we focus on, we give energy to. What we give energy to expands. So we got to be careful not to live in the darkness, because then we're feeding it. We're giving it energy. Every time you click on dark content, the division, the hate, the separate, you're feeding the algorithm that's what explodes, what gets attention. So we got to consciously choose. We got to be in our power and choose where and when we give our energy to. And having your daily practices where you shut out all of the noise, you turn your phone over, you leave your phone in a different room, you're in nature, you're journaling, you're moving your body, you're contemplating, you're feeling, you're taking in the beauty of the sunrise, the sunset. Having those spacious times in the day where you are connected, where you shut out all the noise, is so important. And for me, I do this beautiful morning practice, and then I create in my business, and then I create expanding into my soul purpose. So it's important we nourish our frequency, we nourish our mind, body, and soul, so that we can share from that place. Because our frequency matters. The frequency of the earth, it's made up of every single one of us. Your frequency matters. Your energy matters. And we can get brainwashed into thinking it's just the big players and the war and the top CEOs and the billionaires that make an impact. No, you create an impact. The vibration of the earth is made up by every single one of us. And when one of us awakens and starts spreading the light, more awaken. And this beautiful ripple effect happens, and it is happening. It is happening. So let's remember that. Let's stay connected to that. Connect to your soul mission. Connect to your soul purpose, what you're here to do. Prioritize joy. Prioritize creativity and your fun, so that you can elevate your frequency, because your elevated frequency elevates others. And share from that elevated frequency. Share your light. It is time, and we need us light workers to come online, to share our truth, to share our frequency, to share our vibration, to share our love, because there is so much love in this world. We forget sometimes, but there is so much love in this world. So connect to your heart. Have your daily practices. Be aware of your energy, how it's impacted and affected by the news. Learn when you can take it in, when you need to have boundaries. And share with this world. We all impact each other. And there is so much beauty. And we got to remember the beauty, especially when there's the chaos. There is so much beauty. We got to remember the love. So make sure you're feeding your consciousness, you're feeding yourself with the beauty, with the expansion, with the love that is in this world as well. All right, let me know what resonates in the comments below.